Well, hey everybody, it's good to be with you guys today. Excited to be doing this. My name is Tim Speweik, and I am with a company called Outreach. A little bit about Outreach. Outreach is the nation's largest church marketing company. We are based out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. We do everything that is related to marketing or creating exposure for your church. Some of the things that Outreach does, we do websites, we do social media, we do direct mail marketing. We have our own manufacturing facilities for signs and banners. We also are involved in publishing department. We have the Outreach magazine, which you may be familiar with. It's a 75,000 subscription that goes all over the United States and even different parts of the world as well. We employ about 120 people, but I work remotely out of Toledo, Ohio. So it's great here. And so I do a lot of conferences. I do a lot of church plant launches. I've been in the industry for about 25 years, and but specifically working with church plant launches for about the last 13 years. And so I have assisted in over 1,000 church plant launches in my last 13 years. And I've been employed though with Outreach for about 6 years, and it's just something I'm very passionate about and very excited about to talk to you guys today about marketing, church marketing, and creating a an exposure program for your church, an awareness campaign, so that people can come to your church and you can reach them. And I believe this, that every church has the people for your church. You just have to reach them. And so, how do you go about doing that? And so, today I'm going to present to you some really cool ideas about church marketing, some that you've probably heard of before, maybe some that you have not. But that's my thought. I want to engage your mind and say, hey, this is something I can attach to. This is something we can integrate into our church and help make a difference to reach our community for Christ. Again, a little bit more about me. I'm married almost 30 years. I have 12 children, and they were all produced by one woman, and they range in age from age 27 all the way down to 7. And so we have a house full of love. But anyways, this church marketing is something I'm very passionate about and excited to speak to you guys about this today. So let's take a moment. Let's dive right in here into it. So I call this church marketing that works. Church marketing that can help you create a campaign of exposure to bring awareness and bring people into your church. So this is also very budget friendly. You know, you can be a large church, you can be a small church. A lot of these ideas, like I said, some of you may have heard of, some of you may not have heard of, but they're all going to fit for any size of church, and it can fit any size of budget as well. So whether you're small or large, these ideas will work well for you guys. So um, one of the main things that we talk about in marketing is multi-touch, meaning you want to touch somebody in multiple ways, as many ways as possible. So in marketing, there's no silver bullet. You're not going to have one marketing plan that's going to just knock the socks off everybody, and that's all it's going to work. Like social media can kind of fall into that trap. Like, well, all we do is social media, and we don't need to do any forms of marketing, other forms of marketing. Well, don't fall into that trap. Marketing is all about multi-touches, and that's what we're talking about today, doing different types of marketing from different angles, and we'll dive into all of that. So again, it's a multi-touch approach that we want to use. I heard it said once before, and I always use this: be an unavoidable presence within your community. Again, I'll say that again. Be an unavoidable presence within your community so that when people, your name pops up, your brand pops up, it is very important that they know who you are and they can relate back to you. They've seen you before. So your marketing efforts are working. So, along with that multi-touch, we always want to do everything with excellence. It doesn't matter what we do, it doesn't matter your budget, but whatever you do it with excellence. And your best marketing efforts are produced by, guess what? Your team, your members. Your members are the most important tool that you have to reach your community. And out of all the other marketing efforts, right? this is the tool that you have that obviously it's inexpensive too, right? We're free. Your team is free. So you want to take advantage of that. It is the most important tool that you have. So churches that grow are churches that are outward focused, right? Churches that do community events, churches that are outward focused, that are trying to always um, frequently use and reach, I'm sorry, not use, but reach the lost, right? So reaching the lost people and hospitality are a great way and the most important way for you to grow your church. Other important tools for the growth of your church, probably one of the biggest one is creating what's called an invite culture. An invite culture is the most important tool that you could do with your members, and that is the Great Commission, right? An invite culture is supplying people, your members, with invite cards, and it's a small tool. It's very inexpensive. At Outreach, I know that we produce some, like a thousand cards can be around 50, $60. So you can do it very inexpensively. But what happens is that statistically, less than 3% of our members in our country are actually inviting people to church. But if you can give them a tool in their hand and allow them to break down the barriers and the walls and people struggle witnessing Christ, but if you give them an invite tool, an invite card, hey, we'd love you to stop by our church, check this out, and having that tool in their hand just lowers the wall, makes it so much easier to reach somebody, to talk to somebody, and then all the information is right there on the card, your church, your website, phone number, contact information. And some pastors will even change the invite cards per message series that they're doing. But here's another great idea is on that invite card, you can put a QR code that goes back to a landing page where you can always change the landing page so that the QR code and the cards can be mass produced very inexpensively. And yet you can have the hard information because not everybody wants to use the QR code, but you have the hard information for those who will not scan the QR code. But you also have the QR code on there for those who would like to be who would like technology and like to scan it and go back and find more information. So having an invite card for your congregation is one of the most important things that you can do. Put them at the back of the church, have the pastor just say, hey, everybody grab a stack and go out and invite your friends, your neighbors, your gas station attendant, family, whoever it might be that you would run into, and just simply give them a card that invites them to the church. So, and like I said, that's the Great Commission. What we're called to do anyways, and this just supplies the tool to help to make that happen a lot easier. So the timing of your marketing efforts are very important too. There are three natural church growth rhythms in our country, and that is Easter, it is the fall time, and it is Christmas/New Year as well. These are the times when people are most open to checking out a church, when their hearts are more open and they're more accessible to listening to the gospel or being invited to a church. So these are the times that we always want to do outreach. We want to do some type of marketing during these periods. Again, Easter, fall, Christmas, New Year. And New Year has been a very big one as of late because people come through the difficult times after spending all their money at Christmas and that had a great joy. They kind of have it come down to a crash. It's New Year resolutions time. It's time to get a fresh new you, a new life, not new life, but a new experience. Like, people are trying to lose weight, get out of debt again. And this is the time for the church to reach out at this time and say, hey, a fresh new air, fresh new breath of life breathed in. Hey, come on into the church. We're talking about, finances. We're talking about relationships, getting your life right with Christ. So again, New Year's time is a great time to be reaching out. And during these times, and we're going to dive in more of these how to do marketing. But I want to start off and say, hey, be attractional and have fun, right? We want to do this, and we want to have a good time at doing it. We don't want to be somber or, or this is boring. No, we want to have a lot of fun. We've got the greatest message in the world to give everybody. We have the hope that they are needing. They don't know it yet, but this is what we want to get across. Hey, this is fun. Christ is a lot of fun. Get your life straightened out, and do it with just with a great passion. We all need to do that, and just be attractional. Okay, so let's dive into some of the tactics of how we want to do this. So I kind of split our marketing up by two ways. One is called a ground campaign. The other one is going to be your air campaign. So your ground campaign is what I want to tackle first. Your ground campaign is going to be very budget friendly, very low cost. There's not going to be much here, but what it is good old elbow grease. Getting in, get your members, charged up. These are things that we can do that don't cost much money, but it takes effort. It's boots on the ground. It's getting engaged and involved. And so, and some of these things are, like I said, personal invites. Those are very inexpensive. Getting your congregation out there, getting your members out there to invite people. Number one thing you should be doing. Number two is the other ideas for the ground campaign that are very inexpensive. Door hangers. Now, these have positives and negatives. Some communities allow you to come in, and some do not. There's communities where they come into the garage door. They never even go to the front door. They come into the garage door and they close it and then they go out. They're very inexpensive though, but sometimes not super effective. But and like I said, some communities will allow it, some communities will not allow it. So billboards can be maybe a little pricey, maybe not. Maybe it fits for your church or not, but maybe good. Maybe a good way to gain some good exposure for your church. Yard signs, I'm a huge proponent of these. Very inexpensive, and you can give them to your members and have them each put in the yard. You can put them out on street corners or high traffic areas, but you always have to follow rules and regulations of your community. Some do not allow you to do that. Some do. But again, another great way to create awareness. And then banners and signs, right? Flags, be attractional. When a new store opens up, what do? They're putting up flags and banners saying, hey, it's fun, this is happening, you got to be here. So be attractional. Use these tools in your ground campaign for that. And a few other things to mention that servant evangelism. This is huge. Taking some really cool ideas. I heard of a church that was adopted a local high school, and they said, "Hey, we'll come in and do all the cleanup after your football, basketball games for free if we're allowed to wear our shirts and maybe hand out a flyer." Those are really, really neat ideas because it gels your team together. It helps reaches the community, and then it also helps create a great exposure, and you're benefiting the community as well by offering free services to them. Also, then we are also want to move into other parts of servant evangelism. There's so many ideas and things that you can do that you can dive into that. Again, very low cost, but yet can create a great exposure and can also be very inexpensive there. Community events. Community events are huge, something to be a part of, meaning if there's a parade going on, be involved in it. If there's a tent you can set up, if there's anything like this you can be engaged in, again, another great way to create exposure for your church. Being involved with local chambers, Chamber of Commerce's planning committees is another great way to get engaged with your church and to engage your members with that as well. I've heard of other local planning commissions that churches have taken over the Easter egg hunt for the community. So there's different ways that you can engage your church, but servant evangelism, community events are some of the great ways to get engaged there, along with some of the other boots on the ground items that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so now let's just move real quickly to your air campaign. Now this can be things like your website. social media, or it could be radio, could be print media, direct mail marketing. So these are some ideas that some of them may fit for your church in your budgets, and some may not. Maybe television is good for somebody, maybe it's not. But these are areas where your church, you have to find out, knowing your community, knowing the culture, knowing the pulse of your community is very important so that you can apply some of these ideas to what work for you. Again, not all these ideas work for every area, but they do work great in some areas, and maybe some will work for you. So let's kind of touch base on some of these. The website. Well, the website now is your new front door. The website must have uh, easy navigational. It doesn't have to have huge bells and whistles. The thing is, when somebody visits your website, can they find your service very quickly? Can they find out your times and where you're located at? Those should be critical. Those should be right at the beginning of your page when it gets opened up. That's very easy to navigate. Now, if they want to dive into more theology in that, yes, you can have that in there, but have up front, your service times, where you meet, and what time you meet at, because all of your marketing efforts should point to your website. 70 to 90% of people who will visit your church statistically will visit your website prior to coming into church. So this is your new front door. This is important. Again, it has to be clean, nice, even, easy to navigate through. Okay. So on the digital side of things now, along in your air campaign, you can take advantage of Google, right? Having a good search engine optimization where you show up high in a search engine. You can take advantage of Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. These are all at your hands and tools that should be used by the church because the world's using these again. So this is an area that you need to jump into and be engaged with. Ed Stetzer said, hey, the church needs to be where the conversation is. And today, that conversation is in social media. So social media is a very important part of your marketing efforts to be engaged in. And with social media, I want to point out that it has to be managed well, like your website, your Facebook page, and that. Whether it's the good things are coming in, good comments, or negative, we have to manage both of those well. And then also with social media, um, it's a very active group, and we want to be engaged in it for sure. But not everybody's on social media. There's something called geographic proximity. Geographic proximity. So like direct mail marketing can reach everybody in your community, whereas social media cannot. Like I said, they are a very active group, but not everybody's on social media. So we want to use other forms of marketing as well in order to reach everybody in your community. And so we want to dive in a little bit into now about with your air campaign direct mail marketing. There's positive and negatives. Now, direct mail is not dead. Here, I have some samples here of some mailers that I just received in my mailbox just the other day. This is a college that's reaching out. This is Kroger. It's a very well-known grocery store around our country, and this is NFL and Prime Video, Bed Bath and Beyond. Many others still use direct mail marketing. So is it dead? Absolutely not. Large companies still use direct mail marketing. And at Outreach, we've mailed, I think last year, nearly 20 million postcards for churches all around the country. If it didn't work, they wouldn't be doing it. So this is a very, very important and great tool for you to use. In our country, we have what's called nonprofit rates. 10 cents per piece postage rate for direct mail marketing. This is something that you can attach to that no other country has. So it's something that you have to take advantage of if your budget allows for it. But at 10 cents per piece, when it costs you 50 cents to do a mailing today, it is the time to go after it. We don't know how long this will last. So here again, some good facts on direct mail marketing. that provides a personal touch. It has a shelf life. Now, social media does not have shelf life, but direct mail marketing does. People will stick it on a refrigerator. They will put it on their coffee tables. And so it has a great, great, great shelf life. Many, many testimonies of people coming into the church months, even years after receiving one direct mail marketing postcard. It can be a low cost per household. It positions the church within the community. It has a brand awareness that you can use it for as well. It touches people that other members do not know and can reach them as well. So it casts a wide net over your community, inviting them to your church. So it is something that you can take advantage of for sure. I want to point out to you something called AIDA. It's an acronym, AIDA, stands for Attention, Interest, Desire, and Action. Again, I'll say it again, AIDA. Attention, Interest, Desire, and Action. Now, this is something that you want to use for all your marketing efforts, something that's going to gain attention for somebody, going to draw an interest and build a desire, and then have a good call to action with it, with all your marketing efforts. And like I said again, all of our marketing efforts want to point them right back to your website, because you can only put so much information on a direct mail marketing piece or a yard sign or anywhere. So we want to always point back to our website so that they can gain more information about that. Here's some design must-haves for, say, on the direct mail marketing. You just don't want to throw out any kind of a mailer. You want to have some good pieces and parts on there that are important. So you want to mention something about children's ministry being a clean, safe environment for kids to come to. You definitely want to mention something about your service times. You want it to be bright and colorful. You want it to be an oversized postcard. We use oversized so that it sticks out in the mailbox to gain attention. You want to have pictures on there. Again, your website for sure, and then you want to have a good hook on there. To say, hey, we want you. You want to invite them and say, hey, we want you to be a part of this. Come on down, check out our church. So there's some really important parts to have on your direct mail marketing. Now, again, with direct mail marketing, return rates. What kind of return rates can I expect with direct mail? Well, with return rates, we expect between 1/4 to 0.5% response rate. So what does that look like? Well, on a 5,000 piece campaign, which would roughly ballpark cost you about $1,400 with nonprofit postage, you could see somewhere between 12 and 24 people show up off a direct mail marketing campaign. Now, if you did 10,000 pieces, somewhere between 25 and 50 people. If you did 50,000 piece campaign, you're looking at about 125 to 250 people to show up off of there. Now, I mentioned the nonprofit postage rate of 10 cents per piece. That is an important piece of it. So today's world, if you're doing a direct mail marketing campaign, the church has to apply for nonprofit status through the United States Postal Service. There's an application process. It doesn't cost any money to get it done. We can certainly help out, or any mail house can help you achieve that process and get that done. And but again, it's a very important in order to achieve those postage rates, low postage rates, as well. And then who do you mail it to as well? Well, we mail it to what normally is a saturation around your community. Depending on the budget that you have, say 5,000 pieces or so, it's going to go to every household around the area. Again, social media is not going to reach every household, but direct mail marketing will. And so you want to take advantage of that. There's another type of list. It's called a demographic list, which we can go after too, which you can go after a specific age, or if you want married couples with young children, you can reach those as well. It costs a little bit more because you're going to buy a list that's going to be with names on it, and then you're also not going to saturate your postage rate, so it drives the postage up a little bit too, but can be very, very effective as well. So that is some good postage rates there, obviously. And now different parts of the country, it can be a little more challenging. Your upper northeast and then your upper west coast corners of the U.S. are pretty liberal and very difficult soil sometimes. Maybe even like in a downtown Chicago or New York City, they can still be effective. You might not see as powerful results, but it can still be very effective. So, do you want to engage in both in digital and digital side of marketing? Yes. And do you want to engage in print side of marketing? And the answer is yes on both sides. We want to do, like I said at the beginning, a multi-touch, multi-channel approach to all your marketing efforts. I want to bring in, as I start to wrap it up here, one other tool that's really cool. I don't know if your church does new movers program, but this is a fantastic, fantastic marketing effort that your church should be engaged in. Low cost. At Outreach, we do it at 79 cents a card. Other companies do direct mail, new movers programs as well. But what it is that it sends a postcard automatically out to anybody that moves into your community around you and invites them to your church. They're personalized. The names come off of utility hookups when somebody moves in, and then we get to capture the names, and then we send them out a card. And it's like, hey, Johnson family, so glad you guys moved in. Would love you to stop by and check out our church. Bring this card in for a free $5 Starbucks gift card or something like that has a hook on it. You get the names and addresses to do a follow-up with if you like as well. You also can do a follow-up postcard 2 weeks later, or you can do your own follow-up if you like as well. And here's the thing, based on the national average of $1,000 tithe per person, if you got one person to come in off of an entire year of doing it, you more than pay for the program. But for me, what it does for the church is it sets up all your other marketing efforts. So when somebody moves into your community, they get a postcard coming from your church inviting them to you, to your church. Well, say they don't come in, but now you've touched them once. And we're talking about marketing is all about touches and multi-touches. It's a beautiful first touch. So now, say if they didn't come in, but now they get a personal invite from somebody from the church. They've already been touched and made aware of your church. Or maybe they get an Easter mailer from you. Or maybe it's a social ad that they see. So again, social media and all that will layer on top of a new mover program. That's why I love that so much. It just sets up all your other marketing efforts. So it's something that you definitely want to take advantage of. Well, I've spoken a lot, and we've given you a lot of impact. Again, my name is Tim with Outreach, and you can always reach out to us at any time. Our website is outreach.com, and my email is tim@outreach.com. Well, I appreciate your time today, and it was a joy to share with you. Any questions, please reach out. We'd love to talk to you. God bless you.